always bothering people. I'm that person that's like in your face, like, hello, hi, how are you? I know it's very annoying, but I feel like I have to sometimes because you never know what people are going through. And if I could cheer you up and make your day, I feel like I've accomplished my task for the day. I feel like people are so innately kind, and unless you are like in that same frequency or vibration, you don't know how kind people can be. I am that weirdo that talks to everybody, and I wanted to start sharing a little bit of like those stories. And usually for me, whenever I'm going places, the first thing that I do is I literally will say to myself, like, God, bring somebody my way that I can impact their lives, right? And then I have to actually impact their lives. But the way that I do it is I'm good at encouraging and uplifting people. What I try to do a lot of the times is I try to compliment people and I try to make them feel better. People don't realize that we're constantly emitting energy. Like you're constantly sending people, you're sending messages without realizing that you're sending messages. And for people like me that have like practiced, my air quotes are too low, but for people like me that have practiced how to actually read the subconscious messages that people are sending out, I can pick up on it very easily, and people can pick up on it. And that's what people don't realize is if you're sad, that's not something you can hide. If you're like depressed, if you're going through things, those things are not things that you can hide. You can try to hide them as much as possible. But if you're around someone who knows how to read subconscious messages and stuff, messages that you're sending, they'll pick up on it very easy. It's very easy to pick up on stuff like that or whatever. And when I start talking to people, people will say, well, are you psychic? And I don't know why the only word we can come up with is psychic. I feel like we all have psychic abilities. I feel like we all have intuition. I just feel like some people, they've taken the time out to actually develop it. And part of developing your intuition and stuff like that is really getting away from all the noise and shutting yourself down so you can actually hear the voice within. So if you don't recognize or know how to hear the voice within, it's going to be very hard to follow your intuition, because people always say, follow your intuition, follow your intuition. Well, you got to know what your intuition is saying. You got to know how to perceive it. You got to know all those things. If you're a person that's constantly always like, if you sleep with the television on or something or whatever, you're being programmed, and you don't really know, you don't even have your own thoughts in essence, then it's going to be very hard for you to know what your intuition is saying. For me, I choose to get away from what would normally be. Like, I hate having the TV on. Like, if I'm by myself, I don't have the TV on at all. I just don't like it. I just feel like there's just too many subliminal messages being passed on, and your subconscious actually soaks it up. It just doesn't even like ask you for permission. It just takes it and just takes it in. It's so hard it's not like, I shouldn't say it's so hard. I should say it takes a while to reprogram your subconscious to do it. It takes so much repetition to reprogram your subconscious. So I would rather guard myself and not have the negativity inside of me. I would rather spend time feeding myself positivity so I have that inside of me. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, if you want to evolve and if you want to grow, and part of my fasting journey and stuff like that is, I feel like whenever I'm fasting, I hear better. Who am I listening to? I hear God better. Let me just blatantly say it that way. And I know people say, well, God used to speak back in the day or whatever. I heard somebody say this the other day. Well, God used to speak back in the day and stuff like that. Well, God still speaks. God's always speaking. God's always talking. Whatever you choose to say, Mother Nature communicates, whatever you choose to define it as. But God's always speaking, and he's always trying to communicate. But are you listening? Are you really like listening to what he has to say to you? You know, people sit there and they ask for directions all the time, but are you really listening for the instructions that he has to give you? Like, are you paying attention to what he has to say? Or are you just asking the questions and then walking away saying, God doesn't even hear me, God doesn't exist? No, he does. And he hears you every single time. God answers every prayer. God hears every question and he answers it, and he leads you towards the answers and stuff. If you're asking God for healing and you come across a fasting video, that might be your answer. I'm just saying, that's how you know. If you're asking for a question and you get this instantaneous, like it's right away. It's not like God hesitates to answer your questions. God's actually looking to lead you more than you want him to lead you. You get what I'm saying? Like he desires you more than you desire him, if you even desire him at all. So God's always trying to lead us. God's always trying to guide us. But are you willing to follow? Are you willing to listen? Are you going to take time out of our busy schedules or whatever to actually sit and hear your own thoughts? The best advice that I would give anybody is take 10 to 15 minutes, right? And set that time aside just for yourself and shut everything down. Shut everything down. Shut off your phone. Shut off the TV. I mean, you don't have to shut off your phone, but don't have it with you. Don't, like, go to a space where you know you're not going to get interrupted. You're not going to be disturbed or anything like that. And then just sit quietly. You don't think of anything. Don't think of the list of things that you have to do. Don't think of any of those things. Just sit and receive. Be in a receptive mode. Like, what are you waiting to receive? Don't worry about it. You'll receive. And if you just have to just sit still and just breathe, like, just take really deep breaths. Like take deep breaths. Breathing is good for us. And in the Western world, we don't even do proper breathing. Breathing is good for you. We really need to start taking time for ourselves to build our intuition and build that inner voice on the inside, build our stamina to be able to hear that voice on the inside, because it is only that voice that can lead you to your successes. It is only that voice that's going to lead you to the things that you're called to do in this life. It is only that voice that can lead you to the path of peace, the path of love, the path that's going to cause your life to grow, cause your life to be more productive and more, to cause your life to flourish, And if you can't shut down the noise and the negativity and all the social media and all these things to actually hear that voice, I feel bad. I feel sorry, because it's going to be so hard for you to do the things that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why. You have to take time for yourself. Take time for yourself to get to know the voice within. Take time for yourself to hear your own thoughts. Don't run away from them. They might be scary, but eventually you're going to have to deal with whatever is inside. If you keep running away from the thoughts on the inside just because they scare you or just because you're not ready to deal with them, you will have to face them eventually. The reason I keep coming back to this fasting thing is because if you have things to heal, they will show up while you're fasting. I promise you, they will show up while you're fasting, and it will frighten you. It will cause you to fear. It will cause you to freak out. If you usually get panic attacks, they will get very intense. And you're going to feel like, oh shit, I'm dying. No, you're not. You're not dying. It's just that you need to face those things. Face them head on. The people that make it in this life don't make it because they don't struggle or they haven't gone through hard times. They make it because they are resilient and they face their fears. If you would choose to face your fears head on with courage, you can make it through anything. People who succeed is not because they're not scared. It's because they feel the fear and they face it anyways. They face it head on. People that are courageous and confident, they're just not born that way. They practiced it. It doesn't mean that they don't feel fear. No, they do feel fear, but they're like, forget this. I'm doing this regardless. What are you living for? That's going to cause you to have that courage. That's going to cause you to stand up to fear. That's going to say, I'm sick and tired of having panic attacks. I'm sick and tired of living below my means. I'm sick and tired of not being the person I want to be in my mind. I'm sick and tired of being fat. I'm sick and tired of having this ailment in my body. I'm sick and tired of having this disease, or I'm sick and tired of not pursuing my dreams and my visions and my aspirations. What is it going to take for you to get to that point where you're sick and tired? Because until you say, I'm sick and tired, you're not going to change. And until that point, change will not take place. But when you get to that point where you're like, I'm so done, I'm sick and tired, that's when change happens. That's when change happens. And I'm telling you, at that point, all you really need to do is set aside time to shut down everything, because literally all we do all day is practice distraction and chaos. And there's so much distraction, and we don't know how to just sit down with our own thoughts. But it is our thoughts that help us, because everything you need, my God, is already inside of you. It's already inside of you. Like, everything you need, you were born with. So quit looking out here and searching for stuff and searching for meaning outward and stuff like that. You got to take some time and search within. That still small voice will let you know what it is that you need to do. Anyways, I'm done with this video. If you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. I would apologize for my look, but I'm not going to apologize for my look because I think I look fly. I wonder what your intuition would lead you to if you would just take some time to actually listen to it, or listen to him or her, it, whatever. Listen to your intuition. Anyways, subscribe, like, and share. Definitely share, definitely subscribe. I love you guys, and I will talk to you guys in another video. All right, bye-bye, guys.